Hello, hello. The microphone is bouncing on the MacBook Pro microphone. The title says the three apps I couldn't live without: music, Kindle, and any communications app. So, when I attended the residency at Seton Hall as part of their MA counseling program, the professor asked a question: what are three apps you cannot live without? And I chose music because I absolutely love music. Um, I chose the Kindle app so that I could read my assignments, so I could read the textbooks associated with my course materials, and any communications app. So this could mean a text messaging service, a phone, or any way of communicating with a person. Um, this allows me, like, let's say I need food. I can use a phone to call in a food order. If I need something delivered, I can call in, you know, an order. Um, some people in my class chose Amazon, like, so they can order things and stuff. I could have sworn, so I mentioned, like, I had recorded this interaction, this residency. I did it from multiple perspectives. And I could have sworn I informed my peers that I recorded this meeting. No pajamas on the bed. So I had engaged in some mirroring with this Professor Mayer, and it's part of a section in this book, this intentional multicultural interviewing by Ivy and Zelibet. And it was originally listed as the textbook for this course in counseling skills, but it was replaced by a Spadaro textbook. And I had read, some of the Ivy textbook, and I engaged in some of the techniques, the micro skills and meso skills during this residency. Unfortunately, it seems that the hard drive that the recording was on is somehow compromised. I had, when I was living out in Colorado, I purchased a Razer Blade laptop, and it was a gorgeous laptop. It is, up there with one of my favorites. Um, I'm someone who is attracted to technology. I've had several laptops over the years. Some of them have been returned and sold. Some of them that I returned is like a Microsoft Surface. I was looking for something that could be a textbook replacement and notebook replacement, and so the Microsoft Surface had Windows on it, and it has a keyboard, and it has a touch screen with a stylus to potentially write notes and stuff. And this was part of a quest to find a textbook and replacement ever since the iPad came out. So when the iPad launched, I was taking a lot of science courses and physiology textbooks, organic chemistry textbooks, the lab textbooks associated with those courses, and it was, a heavy thing to be carrying around on my back. So I was hoping that the iPad could replace those textbooks and, alleviate some of the the weight that I was carrying around. I also wanted to reduce the amount of paper I was using. So around that time, I would write constantly in five subject um, notebooks, these five subject college ruled notebooks, and I would write notes, and I would do theory crafting for World of Warcraft. I would attempt to write short stories and stuff, and personal statements for graduate school. And I would do my fantasy calculations and whatnot for fantasy football and fantasy baseball and stuff. And so I was hoping that the iPad could replace it, but it never really lived up to expectations. The original iPad couldn't even read PDFs. Textbooks were not supported. Eventually, there were textbooks that have been released on, the Kindle app and whatnot. Um, but textbooks were kind of like in the same arena as PDFs. And so in the laptop thing, typically there have been two types of laptops. There's been gaming laptops and productivity laptops. Some of my favorite laptops are on the productivity side. A 2007 MacBook Black was like my favorite one. I got this when I was enrolled in a evolution course. It might be a 2008 version. It was about $1,000, maybe less with a student discount, and I loved the chime when I turned it on. I loved, I believe the little Apple logo lit up and stuff, and it was maybe about 13 inches or so, and unfortunately the screen cracked, and when I went to have it replaced, they told me this is going to cost you $700 to fix, and like a new MacBook Air was like $900 with the student discount. So I felt, you know what, let me just get a MacBook Air. Big mistake. I hated the MacBook Air. It had those huge bezels. The reduction in weight really didn't add to anything. I much preferred the the MacBook. Um, then later on, I would get a 2015 MacBook Pro with an i7, Samsung SSDs, and a Samsung Retina display. So Samsung actually produced the display for MacBook Pros around that time, and this was, I'm sure if I still had this laptop today, it would still be useful. Like I probably wouldn't have need to purchase another laptop for productivity things. Um, it is one of my favorite laptops. Um, it was sold on Amazon. I sold it. I wiped the hard drive with this military grade wipe. Um, and it was one of these things. I didn't actually ship it out. My mother did. Um, and unfortunately, it was sold due to some concerns over privacy and account security. There was a data breach where I was involved in a amifuck.com thing with Adobe, where my email was included in that. And then there was a breach at the post office where my fingers were taken from a federal database, and I received a letter. We're going to give you like 3 years Social Security protection and whatnot. And but that laptop certainly was great. After that, I did have a MacBook Pro i9, and it had these 3200 megabit per second read write SSDs, these M.2s. It paled in comparison to the i7 that I had from 2015. So this one was more like a 2018 MacBook Pro or something, and I wound up returning it. Um, and the current MacBook Pro I have is great as well. It's on par with that one from 2015. Um, it's it's pretty sharp looking, and it's pretty, you know pretty good overall. It suits my needs, and it was purchased for productivity. In After I had gotten a free iPad, I signed up for a Verizon account where I got a free iPhone, free iWatch, and free iPad. And there were some issues where I was trying to complete assignments, and I wasn't able to complete them on the Chrome browser on the iPad. So when I traveled, I decided I was going to get a MacBook Pro. Um, the other option was a M3 MacBook Air. The differences between the M4 and the M3, I didn't see that there was a huge difference. Um, so it came down just to personal preference for the 14-inch version. Um, But then I've had gaming laptops, and this is where like it's there have been plenty of shitty ones. Um, and typically it's because they use, their Windows components, and they use cheaper grade parts. They're plasticky chassis rather than the solid aluminum or whatever, metal Apple uses for their chassis. They have these whitewashed displays where like Mac displays have always been crisp. They've had the Retina display in 2015. They've had the current display I have. They've always had, good displays. I've always had issues with like displays on Windows laptops being like whitewashed and not really clear. Well, they're clear, but they have like this. They're not good color accuracy or something. Um, and they are loud. These Some of these laptops are loud. They sound like jet engines, and that's the MSI one I'm pointing out. This was around like 2016. I got an MSI laptop. I must have returned this one too. I mean, it wasn't the worst. Um, like I used it for a bit. I think my problem with it is it uses a Steel Series keyboard. I'm not a huge Steel Series fan. It had incredible noise, like I said, and its display wasn't, the sharpest one I've seen. The best display I've had for a Windows-based laptop is a Sony Vaio 15-inch one that I got around 2011. My brother-in-law got it as well, and that was a pretty good computer overall. Um, But another one I had was a Razer Blade Stealth that was like 11 or 13 inches, a small one. That one was it had like a 3200 times some 2000 resolution, and there were just issues with the trackpad not tracking, um, and it was replaced with an Alienware, and that one had tons of issues with the drivers where it had integrated memory, then it had a 970 mobile graphics card, then it had what a graphics amplifier allowing me to use a 1070 graphics card as a external unit, and it didn't know which graphics card to use. So there was just constant conflict with the drivers and whatnot. I got my dinner, so I'm just gonna grab that. So I can't really remember my first laptop, but I do know like my first family laptop was some sort of compact Presario, and I remember like Windows Media Player, and it still exists in my parents' home. It's buried underneath my father's desk. It seems to be connected to some sort of intranet. Um, so then Oh, I had a small, like 11-inch Sony Vaio laptop that I took away to school. It was meant to be underpowered and just for like schoolwork. It was okay. I kind of wish I still had it. It was eventually replaced by a 17-inch Hewlett Packard, which actually still might exist in my parents' home. That one also had a glossy display. Um, I mean, that's a display from 2005, 2006. That's superior to some of the Windows PC laptops that were produced from 2010 to 2015 before really like the Surface Book came out. And I kind of feel like the Surface Book Macified Windows a bit, where there was a premium where like companies started building more polished units, more premium units, units with better chassis, better displays and whatnot, and that's where the Razor Blade um, 2017 edition, 2018 edition comes in. I believe it's the same as like a gigabit Aorus, gigabit. Are you guys gonna sponsor me? um, and it just had this gorgeous display. It was 1080p in the days of 2K and 4K, but it had such great color, and I believe it was 144 hertz or so, and the laptop on a whole was great, but unfortunately it overheated, and I sent it to Razer, and they said they couldn't repair it, so they offered me a refurbished unit. I purchased a refurbished unit. It was 600 bucks, and it's never been in the greatest condition, and eventually I just couldn't boot it. So I sent it off to have the data repaired, and right now I'm being told it can't be retrieved, and those videos of the residency are on there. I'm gonna find some television programming as I eat. I got a steak from Rumba. Rumba? It's a like Jamaican place or Caribbean place in Patchogue, and it's most of the time when I get steak from restaurants, it's just the quality of meat that sells it. This is very seasoned. It's like my mother used to like brine steaks in like teriyaki sauce. Spider-Man Homecoming's on. Did you see the big news? Spider-Man is gonna make $2 billion globally. You know, I thought we were in a shift where, the population was fed up with these comic book movies, where the phase after Infinity War, people, there was a drop in the audience. They had comic book movie burnout, where basically Marvel had developed this money printing machine that was producing mediocre films in a very formulaic way in order to, well, I don't think it was to take advantage of people. I think they thought it was, we're gonna make some great movies and stuff. Um, but it they haven't been all that good, and the last Spider-Man movie was absolutely awful. And I didn't even know this movie was out. Like, I know they were hyping up the trailer, brand new day trailer released, blah blah blah. I had no idea when it was going to be released. Little girl, I sorry I did not get you anything. I sorry. I sorry, little girl. So I have finished my meal, but I have not finished the list of laptops I've owned. So after that original Razer laptop went kaput, they had made the offer for a refurbished unit, but I decided to get an Asus Zephyrus G14. Has a Ryzen 9 processor and an NVIDIA graphics card. Yes, little girl, do you want a treat? It had maybe a 2060 mobile and a lot of oomph for a little laptop. I just, unfortunately, it was subjected to water damage when we had an earthquake. The hard drive was able to be recovered, but for some reason they said it's going to cost $1,200 to fix. Well, it cost $1,200 to buy, so I'm not going to spend $1,200 to fix it. I don't know why the hard drive was retrievable, but the other components are somehow not retrievable. I've had another Asus laptop. It was a Republic of Gamers laptop, and It's kind of similar to the MSI situation. It was one that was not kept for a long period of time, cheap components where it was plasticky type case, whitewashed display. I don't remember how loud it was, but it did not. It is not with me still. Little girl, you have to go out. I'm just gonna let Shelby out. Come on in. Come on. Before Carmela gets out. Come on. Come on. Sorry, little girl. We can't lose Carmela. She's too important. I think my days of buying Windows based computers, no matter how beautiful the Razor Blade was, there were two of them that I had that had some issues with durability. The first Razor Blade I had, well, actually, it was the second one, but the second one that I had, the one with the metal chassis, um, the color started changing from black to like gunmetal gray, which looked okay, but and the second unit just became unhinged, where the case was separating, and I wasn't able to travel with it. The house episode where the guy is speaking in like gibberish, we'll call it word salad, is on. I was a huge House fan. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. I used to watch it religiously before bed. So, as part of my nighttime ritual, I had at one point in time, I had a 27-inch iMac because I had all these shows purchased on iTunes. So in 2011, I took a summer job and I decided to purchase an iMac that can have all my media, my television shows, my music, and my movies, and had this beautiful 2K resolution Thunderbolt display because Apple, I guess, owns the proprietary technology for Thunderbolt, and Intel owns USB C, and they're somehow the same. um, or similar. Um, but I had all the seasons of House on my iTunes account, and I would watch House before I went to bed, and I loved sitting in the dark in my chair and hearing that the intro to House with the images of the anatomy of a human and part of my nighttime ritual was taking Ambien. So I had tremendous insomnia ever since I was a kid. We would go on vacation, and I would what we would do, a family of four. My mother would sleep in bed with my sister. My father would sleep in bed with me, and my mother, my sister, my father would all be able to fall asleep within 15 minutes. For me, it might take hours. And I had I still have insomnia, so I went on a carousel of medication to treat it, which includes melatonin, over-the-counter remedies such as Benadryl and Unisom. Some of them have similar, active ingredients. Then there was Lunesta, and there was one other medication in the realm of like Lunesta. Lunesta had like a metallic-y taste. It wasn't until Ambien came along that something worked. Ambien was a godsend. I took Ambien, and within 30 minutes I was asleep. Um, the problem became that I was unable to sleep without it. So I would, taper off the medication, and then I would attempt to sleep without the medication, and I just couldn't fall asleep. The rebound insomnia was terrible. And so I was taking it for years, and it was part of my nighttime ritual. So what I would do is when watching House, I would, watch the first like 15 minutes, then I would take my Ambien, and by the end of the show, I should be ready to fall asleep. For shows like 30 Rock and Entourage and Community, I might watch two episodes. So those are about 20 minutes, 30-minute run times. So I might watch one, and then after the first one, take the medication, and by the end of the second one, I should be ready to fall asleep. House was a 45-minute long episode show, and I always had concerns that Ambien would somehow be disruptive to my sex life, to my partner. Where at one point I was prescribed a CPAP machine, and I even went on a date with a girl, and she kind of suggested that a CPAP machine is kind of intrusive to the partner. So it's not something. It was counterproductive. Um, when I used the machine, the pressure from it would, when my mouth opened, the air would start coming out the mouth, and the humidifier in it, which was there to not dry out the nasal passages, was like Chinese water torture, where the water would just drip and it would startle you awake, and so it was counterproductive, and so I wound up having surgery for my obstructive sleep apnea, but I still took Ambien, and I felt that Ambien was you know another thing that might interfere with the, because my nighttime routine, I would have to fall asleep at a certain time or something. And so I was attracted to this one girl named Juliana, and I decided to cold turkey Ambien. And Okay.
some kind of a problem with the load site. I tried to, do the complete purchase, and I go to checkout, and it says we're having a technical issue. You can try it yourself. You may bring up that quote and go hit checkout.
Well, I just got ice cream, so I'll have to wait.
Pardon?
I said I just got ice cream, so we'll have to wait.
Oh, oh, okay. Sorry. Also the talking while you were there. Baseball trade. So, what, the Dodgers got another Cy Young winner?
And they got Scuball. I thought that was a. I heard a rumor that they were going to trade for him. I thought that spoke to their confidence in their team, because they're probably World Series favorite without the addition.
Yeah. Rich get richer, poor get poorer.
Now I don't know if that's like a sign and trade thing, if he'll be there next year, because there was some talk. I guess he's a free agent next year.
Um, I know he was on in the background. The story about Spider-Man doing very well in box office.
I was just talking about that. I don't know why. The last movie was awful.
I seem to recall that. And then they had a little clip of Odyssey. It was big in the Times today. How they used this woman as Matt Damon's double for his arms. And she's like 4'6", and I guess she's got nice biceps. Not huge, but I guess like well defined. And that's the picture of her, not him.
You still want to see that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Mom, would you go to the movies to see Odyssey, or you want to wait for it to come on home screen? So I see the deposit was made for the air conditioning people. I don't know if you saw that they took the money out,
No, I didn't
or
see it.
you did it or something. I don't know. Kind of an odd amount. It was like
$690.
$2,698 or something.
I had the guy come to measure the floor.
Yeah. So what's going on there?
I don't know. I mean,
And this is a guy from where?
from Lowe's.
Uh-huh. Well, as I said, this is something we have to, you know, come to a joint decision about. Um, we've got a lot going on here. We've got the AC being put in. What was your plan?
For what? The floor?
Yeah.
I was thinking white vinyl floors, so that I can mop them and they're scratch resistant to the dog and cat.
Oh,
And
I think the idea of vinyl flooring is a good idea. It's just the color that I'm objecting
I wanted the theme of this room to be to match the Magnus Pro. I wanted gray walls to match the silver suede vest mat, and I wanted white trim to match the desk. And you know, I wanted lighter floors. I don't know why. I don't know how a darker floor would go with the theme of gray walls and white trim.
to. Yeah. Well, I guess this is where you get your AI to create a color scheme and to just like you did with your cathedral room. You had a simulated picture of what it would look like.
Well, it is for
You
the
know.
cathedral room.
Yeah. Pardon me?
It's for the cathedral room.
Oh, oh, and you're thinking about getting white, or getting rid of the carpet. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the entry area where the shag rug is. Oh, you're talking about your cathedral room getting the white flooring.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Oh, well, maybe. I'd like to see it. Maybe.
I don't I didn't see the one I had originally looked at. They looked like wider planks, these long wide planks. The floor that I saw recently almost looked like it didn't have that pattern of planks where it just kind of like masked where the floor would just be white and it would look like maybe like a solid piece or something. Um, the issue with this white carpet has been, now that I get deliveries to the backyard, a lot of people leave open that back gate, And every time, so I've made it a habit of going out and making sure that gate is shut, and whenever I let Shelby out, and I track that dirt in. So that's not something that happened with the previous rug, because I just let Shelby out, and I really wouldn't go in the backyard, and we would go out the front door for our walks and stuff. Um, so this
Right.
rug has gotten very dirty very quickly, especially under the area of my desk, and I don't know. I I think the density has never been to my liking, and the whiteness hasn't always been to my liking. But National Floors Direct said they can install it like next day type thing, and I wanted to do it. I didn't want to delay it because I felt if I delayed it, I would never get it done. And unfortunately, like, I thought this would be the cheaper option. So we had the room that flooded, and we got that offer where that Ramiro said he had some leftover planks from a previous job, and he would charge $1,200 to install the hardwood floors in that room. And like for this room, Lowe's had that deal about like $2 per square foot, and then the material cost maybe like anywhere between $2 and $5 or something. And like I'm assuming that this room is about 250 square feet, so that's coming in at like less than 2,000. I thought that carpets would to carpet this room would be like $900, you know, and it it wouldn't matter, like, it was just like a cheap job to have it done, but this wound up being over $2,000. So the guy comes in and he was like raving about my television. He's like, "That's got to be expensive, right?" I said, "Nope, but it's one of the cheaper ones. It's like you can get last year's model for 650. You can get this one for like 800." The the Samsung S90H is like $1,300 for the 48-inch version, and like the S95H is probably for like a 65 around 3,000 plus. And the weird thing is, like, so I was considering getting a small television for the upstairs bedroom, and currently I have a 32-inch monitor mounted on the wall, and I was thinking of mounting like a 42 to 48-inch OLED, based on what it could accommodate. And like, they don't make the flagship ones in that size, so I was thinking of getting an S95. I'm sorry, getting an S90F, and like I like the S95F television, and I don't like the S95H. So I've like been attracted to this lettering system, but the S90H has the matte display that the S95F has. So like, if I do go through with it, it's probably going to be that version. But actually, the bed, that couch bed, they they sell like an extension to it, and I was thinking of getting it.
Why?
Just for extra room. It's one where like you can have the couch set up in a way where you have the seated position and the lying down position at the same time. I was thinking of getting two stacked together and just having a second one in case the rigidity, the firmness of this material waned, and I wasn't sure like how long the company would stay in business. Because I mean, I like it. I love this. It's a firm mattress. I'm able to sit on as a couch and lie on it as a bed. Um, but I guess my gripe is the um, I don't know how easy it is to clean. Like if I can wash the Carmela. Carmela likes to. So I got a body pillow too. Carmela likes to sleep on the body pillow, and
So did you finish your ice cream?
I did. It was good. I got it from Ralph's this time.
Well, you got a lot of plans, don't you?
As far as what?
Well, you're thinking about TV, you're thinking about your bed, you're thinking about floor.
Well, I had budgeted some of my precious metal for a computer TV setup, which also includes another camera. DJI Pocket has the ability to live stream.
What would you live stream?
Maybe walks with Shelby.
I mean, the show in general.
Did I tell you about the guy who vlogs about trains and he went to Carlisle?
No, I don't think so.
I saw that he was getting very excited about the big boy for that I guess is in commission for America's 250th, and his YouTube channel came up in my feed, and it said something that said Carlisle, so I clicked on it, and you know I guess there's a train museum or something around that area.
I've always been interested in trains. I like these train museums. See the old engines and everything.
Was there one in the Poconos?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's fun. You know, not necessarily to go on a train ride, but just to look at these engines. Really neat.
I would like to take a train similar to what we did in Alaska from eastern Canada all the way out to Alaska area.
A route that's going past nice scenery. That could be nice. I went on that Lowe's site, and at first I thought I couldn't do the checkout the way, I was doing it last week.
try on my end?
No, because I want to put it on my card.
Well, you can give me the number over the phone, right?
Yeah, alright. I'll do that. But you know what I want to do? If there's like a discount for paying it off in total, like 5%, I'd rather do that than do the installment. I'd rather take the discount. You know. So,
You want to forward me the email?
well, you have it yourself. It's the same thing. You sent it to me about a week ago, and it's the same thing. It's got all the prices. So, I'll give you the number. I'm downstairs right now, but actually I think I'll head up to bed. I'll give you the number.
It said the same thing. We've run into a technical issue.
Yeah. So you can't do it either. Okay. All right. So okay. Well, I think I'm just gonna go to bed then. All right. We'll try tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
Alright. Bye.
We'll take care. All right. Good night. Bye. Bye.
Can you feel my heart? This is I remember you. You play Russian with the Cowboys. This is Psych. That guy is the GM of the Dolphins. Can you? Oh, I was napping. Did I miss anything? Bam bum bum bam 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 bum bam 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 bum. Can you hear the silence? Can you hear my hot. Is that how it goes? We'll be doing a live maintenance. Oops, there goes my shirt up over my head. Oh my, oh my. Damn, there ain't no more. I didn't realize that was the Psycho theme. Give me some more by Buster Rhymes. Give me some more. Give me some more. Give me more. Yo, Spliff, where the weed at? Give me some more. Let me just make this statement loud and clear. Jersey's here. Somebody's got problems with me over there. I don't care. That's y'all. It's the one and only. Oh boy. Joe Budden. Yeah, yeah. There's some hoes in this house. I had the pleasure of seeing Buster Rhymes live in concert. He's featured in that song. Yes, y'all, Jersey's here or something. And Buster Rhymes came to Dickinson College circa 2005. And, someone like that, they have enough, singles released that they can play the hits and appease a white audience. He told them white bitches to grab some dick, and suck that dick. You know. Carmella, where's Shelby? Yankees to promote George Lombard Jr. I was watching a video on my computer the other day, and there was a shadow in the video, and the shadow looked like a dog. Holy fuck, he's seeing dogs now. Dun, 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 dun. I don't understand how on this computer, not the one I'm streaming from, that there's 930 gigabytes and only 35 gigabytes is free.